K&A Custom Crafts on Facebook.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Bo and Joe Show. The Bo and Joe Show. Holistic Health and Hot Mamas. I'm getting geared up for that show later tonight, too. That's when you're diversified. Look what happens. So we have a full house. I think that excitement kind of derailed me. We have Kathleen's here, Aaron's here, Courtney's here. Everybody's here tonight. Our first full-length show with our 4 co-hosts. Hello, ladies. How's it going?
Going good. How are you?
Hello.
I'm amazing. We'll go around the room. Kathleen's up on top tonight. Kathleen, tell us about your week, and what are you celebrating? I had a stressful week. I will tell you all that. So that's, as you can see, it's bleeding over into this segment. So Kathleen, tell us how you're doing. Tell us your celebrations and what was happening for the week.
Sure. Well, y'all know I don't leave my house all that much, but I had the opportunity yesterday to leave my house and go to the dentist to get a filling. So that was quite exciting. So that's a quick reminder of making sure that you're setting up your doctor's and dental appointments. I went and had a filling yesterday, so that was not fun. And then my only other celebration I feel like this week was I earned some points at work. If you do a good deed, you get some points. And I was able to collect enough points to buy myself an Apple Watch. And I never buy myself anything. So Ooh. I'm super excited for that to come so that I can monitor my heart rate. And it tells you to stand up and breathe. And I think Courtney was talking about that a few weeks back. So I was excited to get that to support my health journey. And I'm excited to receive it. So that's my week so far.
That's amazing. All right, what about you, Court? We'll throw it down to the bottom left.
So I had a really good week. I had a busy week. My daughter's birthday was on Sunday. She just turned 3, so we had a party for her, and that was a lot of fun. Got to get the family all together. And I started my new job today. I am now a school monitor at my other daughter's school, so that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
It was a great week.
All right, perfect. Aaron?
Not a lot going on here. I worked all weekend because of the storm, so that was fun. And besides that, not a lot going on.
Do you have your phone on there too?
No.
We got a little bit of feedback, but I'm going to take offense to that. What do you mean you not a lot going on? You got this going on. This can't be any more exciting.
Of course, I look forward to this every week.
So we have Justin's here. He's saying full house. Yeah, we have a full house, Justin. That's for sure. He's looking forward to Courtney's Corner already. All right. And Kimberly's here. She says my daughters love their Apple Watches. Gary and I are watching. Hi, Kim and Gary. And congratulations, Courtney, on the new job. And we want to extend that as well to Courtney.
Thank you.
So I'll tell you a little bit about my week. My week was pretty rocky. We had the ice storm, we had a big ice storm here, which was stressful in its own right. But Isaiah, number 1 fan. Hi, Isaiah. Girls rule, boys rule. We'll go with that. I'm not sure. I don't think that's really Isaiah because Isaiah is spelled wrong. So I'm not really sure. I think that's a fake Isaiah. It may be Justin on a secondary account. I have a feeling it is Justin. So he's watching us on 2 platforms. So I had a stressful week. We had the ice storm here, but I also started a new job. So I had to actually take the day off, which is always stressful when you're starting someplace new. Then my son's car wouldn't start on Monday. My garage door derailed off the tracks at 10 o'clock at night, and we had to sleep with the garage door open. We couldn't get it up or down, so I was worried about animals and somebody popping in. So it was a little bit tense, but then I decided to look at the bright side of all of those things. And the ice storm, I got an unexpected day off with my entourage, which was, I certainly appreciate that as they're getting older. My son's car wouldn't start, so this is a dual-edged sword, but my husband ended up coming home to help me out, which, comes with its own challenges, but I'll look at the bright side. He was able to run around and do some errands for me for a special something that I have going on. And the garage door broke. When the garage door broke, my neighbor came over. He just happened to notice that it must have been close to 11 o'clock at night. And I really appreciated that and reminded me of what great neighbors that I have. So I think I turned all of that around. And then the other celebration was a Melanie's party. We got to go to Melanie's party and watch all the kids having fun on the trampoline park. And that was a lot of fun. So that was my week in a nutshell. So, and now I'm here with you, lovely ladies. And that's always a treat for sure. So, all right. So our topic of the month is do something nice for someone you love. Court, what do you have going on? What did you do this week to accomplish that?
So I brought my mother-in-law to the laundromat. She doesn't have a washer and dryer at home. So I gave her a ride down to the laundromat and, she told me how much she appreciated that. I was, shocked at how grateful she was. I thought it was no big deal at all, just bringing her to the laundromat. And then I sat with her while we waited for her clothes to be done. I had like a nice conversation and spent some time with her, and I could tell that really brightened her day. So
that is good. Very nice. What about you, Era?
Well, I have to say, when we were sitting eating dinner, just getting ready for this, I said to Becca, oh my goodness, I didn't do anything nice for anybody all week. I have nothing to report. And she looked at me and it was the sweetest thing. She said, you do nice things all the time, but it meant a lot to me that you got my favorite coffee for me one morning and a coffee cake. So that made me feel good. It's just sometimes little things that make a big, so she must want something.
Oh, well. We'll talk about that next week. Get the scoop. It is Valentine's Day is coming up. And so and in line with the ice storm, I went out and this is the whole reason my son's car was outside to begin with. I was trying to thaw it out so I could chop off the big hunks of ice that were on the roof. So I did do that. And Aaron can attest how much I hate the cold, but I did do that. And he's not listening, but I am going to say I saw this TikTok trend, and he's going to be 18 in 18 days. And, they're saying that the new trend is 18 to 18. So every day for 18 days, you get him you give him a little gift. So I've been having a lot of fun doing that. And that's actually what John's running around doing, getting me the 18 balloons and a little sign that we had made up. So I'm going to be doing that for him. And I know he's loves that type of thing, and he's going to really appreciate it. And he has this perception that at 18 he's done, and at 18 he's done, and he's out of the family. He said, what happens when I turn 18? I'm like, so I think it'll be nice for him to still see that. For him to still feel like he's a kid because he is. Kim saying I did something nice for Courtney's mother-in-law too. She bought her I believe her and herself brought the matching Paw Patrol shirts for the birthday party, which were very cute. She thinks Sue is awesome, and I hope Sue is watching. I'm not sure if he is. And Justin saying, will we be on The Amazing Race? We're going to have to think about that, Justin. We really want to, and we should have done something about it this week, and we forgot about it. But luckily you're here, Justin. And Justin actually got me the link on how to sign up. So I'm going to send that to Aaron, and I'll talk about it. And yeah, that's one of our goals, right? I mean, Aaron's been busy making babies the last 3 or 4 years. Now we're going to have to put those babies aside. We got to meet Phil. Phil's our idol for sure.
Funny.
So, okay. So did we get to everybody? What we did? We had Sue. Kathleen, what did you do nice? Did we skip you?
Well, I am learning self-love, so I brought myself an Apple Watch. I mean,
Oh, all right.
I did buy the sheets that Mark really wanted also. So I say I did two things.
And you benefit from the sheets as well. So, oh. And Becca saying Aaron is nice, too nice if that's possible. I think that is probably true. And if you're saying that, Becca, you're the only one who might see your prickly side. So yeah, then it really is true. So then our topic of the year is 2022 is the year of you. What have we done? I'll start with me this time. I'm continuing to organize my house, which is turning into like this never ending project because I've neglected it for the last couple of years. And I also started going back to this spinning studio. I still do spinning at home with my main squeeze, Britt Dietz. I always like to shout her out, but because I left work and my friend Tina and I used to go to the studio together. I have been going back to the studio a little bit. I will say my ass is killing me because at home I have this big cushy seat and I upgraded it for my home bike. I forgot that the studio bike doesn't have that upgrade. So yeah, so I've been struggling through. That's another nice thing I'm doing for somebody I love. I'm I'm putting up with a sore gluteus maximus. And so those are my two things. Kathleen, how about you? What is 2022 is the year of you? You bought the Apple Watch, but what else? You can't use that as the answer to every question. What else do you have going on?
No. Well, I'm just trying to focus on eating healthy, drinking lots of water. I know we talk about this a lot, but just need to, focus on my health. I've made all my doctor's appointments, which I bring up a lot because you guys don't listen to me and make sure it gets done. So how are we with that, ladies, by the way? But I'm just trying to just be more health conscious and continuing on. I mean, I always go, let me eat healthy for 30 days and then I fall off the bandwagon. But I'm really trying to stay on the health train, so to speak. And if I fall off, I get right back on. So that's really what I'm trying to do. Not count calories, but just paying attention and being strict with myself when I have to and giving myself a break when I have to.
I love that. What about you, Court?
So I have I would want to say like about a year now, I've been doing intuitive eating. But this week I started actually tracking my macros and I am going to continue doing that. I don't think I'm going to do it every day, but I'm going to do it definitely a lot more often than I have before. And I think that'll really help to push me toward my goals more. The only thing I just don't like weighing my food and tracking it. I feel like sometimes it takes up so much time, but I'm going to definitely do it a little more than I have been just to get me ready for summertime.
I agree. I think that counting macros is actually the way to go. I think that that's part of our program, but I agree. It's really cumbersome. And I'm somebody who tracks my food religiously. I weigh things very often, but when it comes to the macros, it just adds a different depth, a different layer. So I'm great at tracking, but when it comes to tracking macros and getting the right percentages, and I think the right, for me, I think, for any listeners who are interested, I think that the best balance is 40 carbs, 40 protein, and 20 fat. I think that that's probably most efficient, but it is difficult to do, but it does pay off. I will say that. So if you can do it and you enjoy doing it, but you don't have to do it that way either. I mean, so many things work: counting calories, intermittent fasting. At the end of the day, it's always going to come down to eat less, exercise more, and drink more water. But any way that you want to do it, any of these tricks and strategies are effective too. So before we get to Aaron, we want to say Colleen is joining us and she's saying, good job, Yaya, keep going. And congratulations, Courtney, on the new job. Congratulations to you too. Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you.
And we all look fantastic. And Yeah, well, we have good lighting, Colleen, but we'll take the compliment. Thank you. And I'm sure you look fantastic too. And anybody who ever wants to come on and a guest spot, we'd love to have Aaron. We'd love Aaron. We'd love to have Becca. We'd love to have Kimberly, Colleen. Anytime you want to hop on, there's certainly room on the screen. So Kimberly Rock, me too.
Probably about organizing.
Oh yeah, the organizing. Yep. Every time I try to organize and I make a mess before it's done. And that is the thing. You have to shuffle everything around. It's the old Tierney trait. Move the stuff from the shed to the garage to the shed. That's my father's exercise every year. We're cleaning up one, but we're messing up the other. And so I really have to give this shout out. And I think this is a special one. Love you, Mom, from Anthony Santor. Proud of you all. Thank you, Anthony.
Love you.
So, all right, spread the word, Anthony. Get those young hipsters interested in us. Anthony would actually be a great guest, and I don't know if he's with Domenica or not, but they're totally into holistic health, and we'd love to have you on. I think that's really one of Anthony's areas of expertise, isn't it, Kathleen?
Yeah, for sure. He's always learning and doing something new. I know in January he did not no sugar, but no added sugar January. I'm not sure what he's doing for February, but he's definitely health conscious. And so is his girlfriend, Domenica, which I might add, they're a beautiful couple. Love seeing them together. But they're both health conscious. Domenica is huge into running. She ran for Siena, and I think they may even do a what's that thing called, like a triathlon or megathon, or I don't know.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about that. We have another great shout out. And I think she's getting the boxes confused because I think she's referring to me, but we got Katie Vandenberg. Oh my God. Who is that beautiful lady on the bottom right? I think she means the top left. Hi, Katie. Welcome in. And Katie's very health conscious as well. So Anthony's chiming in. We are both watching and loving the show. We are running a marathon later this year and starting our training in March. So Anthony, you missed last week's show, and Erin, who's in the bottom right, is the beautiful one, as Katie pointed out, is also going to be training for a marathon, and that would be interesting. She's going to have a whole segment dedicated to that, and I'm not sure if we're starting it tonight. We all have a I have Tierney's Tidbits, Courtney has Courtney's Corner, Kathleen has Ford's Facts, and I was thinking, what did you come up with, Erin? We could do everything, Erin.
Yeah. I don't know. I gotta think about that. I didn't think anything over the week, but I definitely want to come up with something snappy. But back to Katie. Katie is studying. She's going to be finishing her degree at Sage in nutrition. So she's very much into nutrition, and she follows the keto lifestyle. So that is her claim to fame. She really has followed that really closely and had a lot of success with it. So
yeah, she looks fabulous too. So that's something too. And if anybody, we'd love to have you on, Katie, too, to speak to people about that. Keto's not for everyone. I think that, but for people who can stick to it, it's amazing. I've tried it; it works, but it is a tough lifestyle. So give props to anybody who does it. Kim was saying the do something nice for someone every week challenge. She loves that. You should extend the challenge to the watchers. That's more niceness to go around. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we always encourage our listeners, our viewers to jump in. Tim is not going to be joining our marathon segment. He's saying he's allergic to marathons.
Me too.
But Tim says that, but he's an avid runner and he's in great shape too. So he just finished his military challenge. I think he could probably run circles around us for sure.
Definitely.
So, okay. Yeah. All right, so we'll talk about that. Everybody who's on tonight, we're going to challenge you to do something you love for yourself and for somebody else that you love, and talk to us about it next week. And maybe we'll have a special guest every week, and that will be exciting. Or maybe everybody will have somebody pop in, and we'll have everybody pop in for that segment. Anybody who wants to share. All right, so did we get to? Yeah, that is a great idea. So did we cover that for everybody? The topic of the year, do something 2022 is the year of you.
Well, I've had a lot of crazy plans this week. I think Becca's probably sick of me because every day I'm coming up with a crazy idea and crazy scheme. But one thing I did forget to mention is my birthday always kind of coincides. It's right after the new year. So I turned 38. Like you said, I've been having kids one after another. So I kind of wanted to really focus on myself and, focus on the kids. So one thing we did is we joined Sakati Center, which I'm very excited about. And one thing I'm very proud about is every Friday night, I've been taking both boys by myself. So we eat dinner and then we go over to Sakati and, we swim and water park. And it's been great because my middle son doesn't always sleep the best. So it's been tiring him out. He's only 2 and he wears a life jacket, but just in the few weeks we've been there, he's been amazing. He's like the best swimmer I've ever seen and he loves it. So my oldest one, not so much, but it was really nice to see like how much he enjoys it. And it's been great for us. And then on Saturdays, the whole family goes. So we get Becca in there, we get Kara in there, and Kara really likes it too. So it's been really great to join there and have that experience with all the kids.
I love it. And we will say that Jake is also probably in my lifetime anyway, he's and that's saying a lot because Alex used to have a lot of energy, but he has a lot of energy. So it's a great way to segue that, channel that energy into something, productive. So I love that idea. And then Court, what about you?
Oh, I talked about my macros.
Oh yeah, your macros. All right, so we covered all that. All right, perfect. All right, so then next I wanted to continue on with the festive foods and drinks, only because it's, such a big week for food and alcohol. We got the Super Bowl and of course there's virgin cocktails too. We have the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day weekend. I didn't think that one week was enough. Plus, I like to talk about my cocktails. It was funny. An old memory was posted on Facebook this week of me at a picnic drinking beer. And Aaron's like, "Are you drinking a beer? It's been so long."
I've never drank anything other than vodka and water. So
So it's been so long since I've actually had a beer. Certainly, I can't. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to try another one. It's been a long time, and now they old Molson Ice used to be my drink of choice, and I've had more. I kept Molson going for at least a decade. So now I'm keeping Grey Goose in business. So I've segued a little bit, but so I saw these adorable cookies, and it actually made me think of Courtney and Aaron because I don't know if you guys bring treats in, but they're actually graham crackers, and then you put white frosting on it, and then there's edible markers, or you could pipe the frosting like pink frosting or red frosting around, and the actual graham cracker looks like an envelope. So it's bordered, and then they do the V for the seal of the envelope, and then they put a little heart-shaped candy, and it was so adorable. It actually looked like a little Valentine, and it's no cooking, right? You just have the graham crackers and the frosting, and you look them up. They were called Love Letter Cookies, so they were super, super cute.
That does sound so cute.
Especially for anybody who's bringing in treats for the class. I always like to find things that I did not have to cook. And then I found a great cocktail called the Love Potion number 9. It's actually, you can change it up, and you can also call it for Halloween, like the vampire's blood or something like that. But it has vodka and Chambord, which is a raspberry liqueur. So you put that in, you put 100% cranberry juice and a little squeeze of lemon, some grenadine, and then you put dry ice in it. So the dry ice makes it come up. You garnish it with the dry ice. It makes it look like a potion. It's super. I can't wait to try that. It's super cute. So Justin cracks me up. Justin is saying I'm too fast. Oh, no. He's saying, Joe, are you fast for the amazing race? Well, I'll have to train for it. We have so many good. We're going to have Aaron in a marathon, so I can be the person behind solving the puzzles. And then maybe we'll get Anthony and Domenica on to give me some tips. And yeah, I'll make it work. Justin. And you don't always have to be fast. I'll hop on the subway. I'll cheat, right? We can hop on a bike. We can get a carriage. Have you ever seen it? We can swing from a tree. We got all kinds of tricks in our sleeve. Bill has nothing on us.
Until you hit a roadblock.
Until we hit a roadblock. But then isn't that the show that we can phone a friend?
No.
I'm kidding.
Watching old episodes.
You can try, but
We've been watching old episodes of it, and every single challenge that comes up, I start laughing because I think of you and I doing it, and I'm like, I don't know how this would play out, but I really want to see it happen. So
we really have to look into that. We'll do that. We'll have to do that this week. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? We get turned down, so, and we'll apply every year. Sometimes they have open auditions in New York, or we'll have to take a, New York City. So we'll have to check it out. I think that, this could be our audition tape. We pump up the show more than we have tapes going. We have that old Facebook tape that, I'd hate to see that come out of a circulation, but we could do it if we had to.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And then the Super Bowl pool foods. I really like chicken wings. I mean, I notoriously for most of my life, way back when chicken wings came back out for the first time, it was like the big rage, and I really like them. But as I'm getting older, I don't like the mess as much, like the bone and all of that. So I found this great recipe for actually buffalo chicken crescent rolls, which I like. You take the shredded chicken and some cream cheese and a little bit of cheddar cheese, and then the buffalo wing sauce and some blue cheese dressing, and you mix it all together, wrap it up in the crescent roll. Then, and you could probably even do this without the chicken, right? And for people who are vegetarian, or you could put a little bit of cauliflower in there instead. And then you fold it all up and you put the crescent rolls in the oven, and then you put some blue cheese crumbles on top, and then you bake it. It just looked amazing. So I thought that was a great alternative. I might talk about that on the Super Bowl show. Tim's saying he loves chicken wings with a dry rub, especially Desert Heat from Buffalo Wild Wings. I haven't tried that. I've actually never been to Buffalo Wild Wings. I might have to give that a shot. But that sounds delicious. And then I found a great cocktail for that. It's a little bit more homey because of the weather, but it's called the Sideline Sip. You take a drink and you take some caramel sauce and drizzle it around the top of the glass, and then you dip it in sea salt, and then or sprinkle sea salt. I think it'd probably be best to sprinkle it. And then you have Irish cream and amaretto and milk, and you just mix all the ingredients together and pour it over the ice.
Sounds so good.
I know. That's like a dessert. So we have a lot of drinking to do this weekend, people. All right, so I want to we have a global trend topic. I dominated this conversation last week. So Court, what did you come up with for this week?
Did you guys see the video about the Instacart driver who helped the older man?
I saw it.
Yeah, she was an Instacart driver, and she went to the store to, fulfill the order. She went to drop the order off, and this man, he was really sick, and I guess the Instacart drivers are not supposed to go into the person's home, but she could kind of tell that he was struggling, so she offered to help him, and she noticed like a gas smell, and she realized that there was a propane tank leaking, so she was able to call and get him help. So her main thing was, if you see something, say something, even if you don't, even if you're doing something that you're maybe not necessarily supposed to. Her biggest thing was, just use your best judgment, and always, if you see something, say something, because she ended up saving his life.
So it's a little bit more than that. The order, actually, it was a woman who sent the order in on behalf of her father. And so she said the woman told her, just leave the groceries on the stairs. And she said that when she got there, she felt compelled to go in. She said something told her she should go in. She messaged the daughter and said, and said, yeah, I don't think your father's well. And so she went in. And so before she saw the propane tank, but she said she herself was feeling dizzy. And she said she messaged the daughter, and the daughter said, I'll send my son over. So she sent her son over. So she had changed. She said, thank you for the tip. And she changed her tip. The tip, not that tip, but thank you for the tip and the information. She changed her tip from $14 to $100. And then she sent her son over. And the next day she messaged her and said, and it wasn't just her father, her younger son was there at the time too. So they said she actually saved 2 lives. And then the video, it was on TikTok, it went viral. There were over 16 million views on it. And now the celebrities are weighing in and telling her, because she said, I'm just an Instacart driver. But everyone's saying, no, you're not just an Instacart driver. You're a hero, and you saved 2 people's lives. So, it's really a great story. Yeah, so we loved it.
That's heartwarming. That makes me smile.
It does. So, all right. So, Court, you're up again. Well, anyways, we'll switch it up. We won't go to Courtney's Corner. We'll go with our new thing, Aaron's Everything. We're calling it for tonight. So, Aaron, what do you have? Everything, well, Aaron.
I think one thing that we kind of talked a little bit about, Joanne, is, and I actually invited my sister as well, looking at possibly doing a triathlon over the summer. So something really light, introductory. I know that my goal has been, it's kind of a lofty one, it's a big one, about running the marathon. So I'm looking at training programs for that, and, trying to figure out when's a realistic time to get that in. But I think we all really should look at doing just an intro light triathlon this summer. So one of the parameters I will say is, I think the body of water that we're going to swim in needs to be vetted, because I know that locally there are some triathlons that swim in 6 Mile, and I just don't think that's a safe idea, because it's just, I've seen triathlons swim in 6 Mile. So I think we should definitely look into that. I think it will be it'll be a fun experience, and it will give us a goal, and I think we'll feel accomplished after we do it. So I think we should realistically look at that and make a plan for it.
I agree. So, and I know Courtney's interested in it as well. What about you, Kathleen? Did you get your piece of exercise equipment? Are you ready for the training piece?
Well, I have one piece of exercise equipment, and that was the fan that you wear around your neck when you're on the exercise equipment. But
all right, well, that works.
We can't get these kids together to bring this piece over here. I'm ready to pay someone to do it, but
all right. So
hopefully
since we have Anthony watching, I think we all ought to put the pressure on him. Anthony, we need to get this. Your mother's in a triathlon now. We got some pressure going. Now, how does a triathlon work? Do we all do each events, or we each do separate events?
Yeah, so each person, and then I was poking around a little bit on the I think it's the Mohawk Runners Club or something. You swim a certain distance, you run a certain distance, and you bike a certain distance. Usually the running's the last part, but some of the distances to swim are pretty significant. So we should start with the lower. Notice they have different levels, and it decreases the amount. But also too, the running portion and the biking. I mean, over the summer I rode my bike to O'Toole's, which is a local bar, to get drinks, and it was literally half a mile, and I thought I was going to die. So I think, you'd probably be better with the spin experience. So I think, definitely need to look into it a little bit more, but I think it would be a good goal, a small one.
I think I definitely would need to start running. I think the biking, I would be fine. The swimming, I used to be a great swimmer, but of course you say that, but we're out of the loop. But Katie's ready. Katie's already ready. And Colleen's chiming in on the story. That's a great story. Thank God she went with her gut feeling. Totally agree. Yeah. And Justin's telling us to just do it. So we're in, Justin. We're going to do a triathlon. So let's put some pressure on the Anthony Santor to get on. There's something we're extending our challenge to the viewers, do something for someone you love. We're making it very easy on you, Anthony. So you can do it. All right, so let's go to you, Kathleen. What do you got for Ford's Facts tonight?
Well, it's interesting. I was looking up facts earlier in the week because I was like, boy, what am I going to talk about? Do you know that there's some really weird facts out there? Like, for instance, dolphins sleep with one eye open. Like, what are they afraid that sharks are going to come from behind them and eat them? Did you know that we have flying bicycles? Did you know?
Really?
Yeah, I never knew that. And then the weirdest fact that I found was that vacuum cleaners used to be horse-drawn. So if somebody could explain that to me, I would appreciate it. But those are my fun facts for the week.
That seems like that would be a big cleanup after following along that trail.
Right? So I'm going to look into that some more. But that was one of the weird fun facts that came out.
I like all those. Kimberly saying, "Let's do our swimming training at Joanne's." All right, that's a good spot. We can all do laps over here. And you know how I am. The pool's pretty toasty, so if you're expecting, I turn the heat up quite a bit. I might have to put it down to the frigid temperatures if we're going to be simulating. Oh, that's another thing. We shouldn't do the triathlon in May. Let's shoot for August when the waters are warmed up.
True.
That'll be ruling Aaron and myself out. We're not cold weather fans for sure.
I think Kimberly is saying that because she has seen me panic in water. I forgot when I signed up with the triathlon that it involves swimming, and I'm not a very strong swimmer, so I am going to need practice.
All right. And Kimberly's giving us some great advice. Start slow. So we will. We won't even be, unless we join the Y. Well, one of the non-fitnesses actually has. Oh
yeah, the one in
Guilderland.
In Guilderland, yeah.
Yeah, so we can think about that. We have to look at the rates, and I know that Vent will do a month-to-month membership. So it might be worth it for us to just do it for a month till the water warms up. Because once, I'll open the pool probably early May if there's snow has melted, and then we can heat it up, and we can certainly do it here for sure.
Yeah, Ducati does do month to month too, and they have a swim lap lane. So.
Oh, okay. But do they just have the one lap though, right?
No, I think it's like 4 across. They do like swim events like there, so races.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a good option. That's actually more convenient than the Guilderland one. Yeah, so that's good to know. And I'll check into the Ys too. There is a Y right next to my work now. So that's something to think about. All right, so we'll have to have a little, well, we're just competing against ourselves, but we should maybe try to set some PRs and get some, not compete against each other. I don't like that idea because we're the same team, but, try to send some benchmarks and try to improve ourselves, like check our time on day one. I think that you forget to do things like that and to really mark your progress, because in swimming, it's hard to determine that. It's really based on time and distance. So let's keep track of all that stuff. All right, I'm going to go to, before we get to Courtney's Corner, because then I guess I can. Yeah, let's go to Courtney's Corner. I'll do Tierney's Tidbits next.
Okay. I wanted to talk about what to do if you don't have a Valentine. I know Valentine's Day can be hard for people who are not in a relationship. So some ideas are, you could ask your single friends to be your Valentine. I know a lot of ladies will get together and have a Galentine's. I don't know what men call it, but you can get your guy friends together too and go out, or spend some time, like watch a movie or something. Another thing is to make the day all about self-care. So you can, get a massage, get a facial, take a bath, or whatever your idea of self-care is. You can learn a new recipe. You can bake some treats. A lot of people like to indulge on Valentine's Day. And then another thing that people might enjoy is to volunteer. I know with COVID, there might be some restrictions, but there might be some Valentine events in your community that might need your help, like a school or, you know, a nursing home, a domestic violence shelter, soup kitchens, and that will also make you feel good that you're helping your community.
I love all that. We have some comments. And so here's something that's making my Valentine's Day. Just as saying, you're the best athlete on Coast to Coast, Joe. I think some of the gentlemen would disagree, but I love that. But the Valentine's Day, I love Katie's comment. Katie's saying nieces and nephews make the best Valentines. And Kim is saying Valentine's Day is hard for people that don't have a significant other for sure. I think that men are less inclined to care about it. I'm sure some do, but I think it's very difficult for women, I think, because we really put so much significance behind the day. But I think I think that Katie and Courtney both make great points. You know, I'm going to talk about the school a little bit, and Courtney, since you're working at the school, it's something to be mindful of. There's always single mothers who would love to have a Valentine, or single fathers, single parents who would love to have a Valentine, and then their children. Even if you just get yourself, make a gift basket of cute things for a single household. You know how we boo people on Halloween. What if we spread some love on Valentine's Day and reach out to people who may not have a significant other, but also have young children? I think that they would really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that.
So that's something. And then I'm going to segue into Tierney's Tidbits. I know we talked about last week a little bit about, we talked a lot about the young Miss America, the young woman who committed suicide. And I didn't divulge it at the time because it wasn't public knowledge, but there was actually an 11th grade girl who committed suicide that same weekend. And my children, I didn't think that my sons knew her, and they didn't know her. My nieces and nephews, or anybody who knows me, all of my nieces and nephews, with the exception of Courtney, all went to the same high school. Courtney was a little bit older, and we hadn't relocated here before it really became our family hub. But they're fortunate that they all go to school together and they have some comrades there. But this young girl, and she certainly had friends. I think she was, I'm speculating, so I don't know why, but I think that she, and I'm going to talk about some rumors that are not substantiated. I think that, and this is in generality, so I'm not going to refer to her in this vein, but I think there were some bullying issues. I think there were some sexuality confusion, and I think that those are just two of the things that plague young people today. So I'm not really going to go too much into that segment about it, but, they had a candlelight vigil last night and I did not go. Again, I thought to myself, my sons don't know her. I'm not a big, I had a long, stressful couple of days, and it was outside. I'm not a fan of the cold. I was torn about it, but like I said, my husband came home and he actually ended up going, and it turned out that once they went there, my sons didn't know her, but my sons were all very moved by the vigil. My youngest son, he said he didn't realize it, but he's actually a classmate and a friend of this young woman's brother. And so he said that, it wasn't emotional for him. My middle son, who is very stoic typically, came home and went into his room and cried himself to sleep. And I think I'm just pointing all this out because sometimes we think we really know our children, but don't just assume that your children are okay in every scenario. It's something that I was actually taken aback by. And then, I tried to get Jojo, my middle son, Patrick, just didn't want to talk about it. He said he was okay, and he was just emotional about it. But Jojo really started talking about it in a little bit more depth. and he's younger. He's in 8th grade. And he was speaking about, once he knew that it was brother, he said he started to worry about his own mortality and what would happen if he died, or what would happen if someone in our household died. But the thing that really struck me is he said, I started thinking about this young woman, and I thought about all of the dreams and goals and things that she probably wanted to do in her life, and she never did. And I think that that's really poignant and insightful for someone who's 14. And he said, and then I started worrying about my own goals. And if I'm going to fulfill all of the things that I want to do in my life. And he said, I didn't want to make it all about me. And I he said, I feel guilty about that I'm making it all about me. But, I reminded him that, he didn't know her, but I think that's actually a beautiful moment and a gift. Think about us. There are so many things in my life I haven't accomplished, and I'm still working on goals. And we talk about on the show and the things, but to realize that at 14, that's, I think, a gift that this young girl gave to my son, and I hope it sticks with him, and I hope he remembers that, because I would have much rather have been that insightful at 14 than start to think about it now and at the midlife point. So I really want to, really extend my sympathies to her family, because it's a very difficult thing. As we know, Kathleen, it impacted our own family, so we know how it is, and it's a lifelong. You carry that for a lifetime. So, her family is always going to carry that, but I want them to know that, maybe something good can come from it. And, if you're reminding others to appreciate life, that's something that was positive. I mean, it's hard to say that there's something positive came out of that, but just to know that her death wasn't in vain, that it did have an impact on someone, and the whole community came out, and I'm sure he's not the only one who thought about it in a different perspective. And Colleen is saying Jojo is so sweet, and I will agree, he really is a sweet boy. So I'm biased, but he is. So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I kind of had a similar moment to that when the Gabby Petito case was happening, when we found out that she had passed away. That is when, like, I had been remember how I was talking about I want to do the 46er challenge, in the Adirondack Mountains. Like, I had been thinking about that for a couple years, but I just never thought that I would be able to do it. And then Gabby Petito really inspired me, to go after it. Like, I can do it. Like, I can do anything I want. So yeah, it's good. I'm glad that he thought of that at such a young age.
And I think what?
I think it's hard to see, anybody pass away. I mean, I'm 38, and I'm so thankful where I am in my life right now, and all the great things I've got to experience. I have long-term plans, but of course I think I want to live long enough to see my kids grow up and see where they end up and make sure they're in a good spot and they get to adulthood. But, I think even when I see kids who passed away, who I graduated with, and we're almost 40, it's still like really hard to grasp and like kind of realize, yeah, you're only here for a short time. So as Big Ange once said, I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
And I think that reminds me too of what your mother always said, Kathleen. You only have one life. I thought about your mother this week. You only have one life, live it. And I thought about actually Colleen this week too, because a Jeep passed me, and Colleen always used to have that Jeep, remember when she had the Jeep and it said "Life is good" on the back tire. So there was another on it, and I think it was a Jeep, and they had that back tire on it, and it said, you only have one life, live it. And I think that that's so significant. And I always carry that with me, because there were long parts of my life, long periods of my life that I didn't live it because, I was so concerned about the way I looked. And, that's such a detriment to young women. So I'm passionate about that, body image, and don't let, your looks limit your life. I mean, people think about us so much less than we think. You know, I think about I don't ever recall going to a party and I thought to myself, oh my God, that girl's outfit's horrible. Why is she here? You know, I think that we think about ourselves in a much different perspective. I mean, there's not to say there aren't mean girls out there in the world. There always will be. But you know, I just think don't limit your life because it's too short. And the older you get, the more you realize it. And life is so random. We had that other young woman who, you know, died on the highway this weekend. She bumped, you know, she's 34 years old and they said she's studying to be a nurse and just a fabulous person all around. And that's, you know, you can be 24, 4, 64, 104. You know, we never know, right? Life is pretty random. And Colleen saying great words from my mom. That's certainly the truth. All right, so that's my tidbit. We did Courtney's. Did we do Courtney's Corner?
Yeah.
All right, we did Courtney's Corner. We did Forrest Facts, Aaron's Everything, Tierney's Tidbits. So now we're and Colleen, and this is the truth. Colleen saying, "I did love my Jeep tire cover. Life is good." She sure did. So now we have, and I don't know if you guys read a little bit about it, and I don't always want to. You know, we have the cards that Aaron gave me for Christmas, and I pulled one card out, and I'm trying to, in honor of Black History Month, honor women of color, and it's in particular African American women. So, you know, the card that I picked today was Hattie McDaniel, and do you guys know anything about her?
I don't.
I did it, and I tried to Google her. I didn't really see anything.
Isn't she an actress, a singer, and a songwriter?
She is.
And she's the best supporting actress. First African American that won an Oscar, right?
She's the first African American woman to win an Oscar. She won for Best Supporting Actress, but you know, and that's all I knew. I didn't, and she was in. You probably all remember her. She was in Gone with the Wind, Mammy. Oh. That's who she was. But the story is sad in so many respects, and you know, I never. You know, I'm not great at history, so I always have to research these individuals. I don't know anybody. You know, I've known Bear. That's not my forte. But when I started reading about her, she has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She was inducted into the Black Filmmakers Hall of Fame, and she was actually honored with a U.S. postage stamp at one point. But I think the most significant parts of her story is that she experienced racism and racial segregation throughout her career, even at the Oscars when she was up for the nomination. She was seated at a table in the corner and segregated by herself. And at the award ceremony, she wasn't able to sit with the general population. She wasn't able to go to the premiere of the movie in Atlanta at the time because the theater was for whites only. She, you know, she had a quote, and she said after she won, I want to read it. It said, "It has made me feel very, very humble, and I shall always hold it as a beacon for anything that I may be able to do in the future. I sincerely hope I shall always be a credit to my race and to the motion picture industry," which is very sweet. But think about it, even with that prestige, with that award, she still wasn't able to live a free life. I mean, at the time, you know, I think she died in 1952. I mean, the civil rights movement certainly wasn't at its peak. It reminded me of your mother, Kathleen. She was only 59. She died of breast cancer. And I think to myself, you know, here we have this talented woman who really was limited by race. Can you imagine what, you know, the talents that she had, and had she been able to fully explore them, what she would have been able to accomplish in her lifetime. And I think the saddest part of the story for me is that her final wish was to be buried in the Hollywood Cemetery, and she was denied because at the time it was only restricted to white individuals. So how sad is that?
That is very sad.
Very sad.
So, I mean, as much as she accomplished, that was such a lingering. uh, but then on a current note, here's an entirely different story. I always like to bring up to find a woman who is changing the course of history today. And I read a little bit about Rosalind Brewer. I mean, she is the CEO of Walgreens. She's an American businesswoman. And so her annual compensation, on the flip side, her annual compensation is $8.1 million a year. So she's won her appointment in March of 2021, made her only one of two Black women serving as CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. She's one of corporate America's most prominent women and Black female executives. She's held executive positions at Walmart and Kimberly-Clark. I always used to remember Kimberly-Clark because my sister's name is Kimberly, and when we were growing up, it would be on, like, when we went into a restaurant, every single stall had Kimberly-Clark because they were the paper product. There must have been a monopoly at that time. They were the paper product in the least regard to the restaurant industry for forever. And she was also, she held executive position at Sam's Clubs, at Starbucks, and she's 60 at the time. So here, think of the disparity between she's 60 and Hattie McDaniel, who died at 60, and just the different levels of prestige and monetary compensation. I should have looked up how much Hattie McDaniel was made as compared to, her co-stars on the film. But she was the only African-American member of the board of directors of Amazon in 2019. And I think one of the most significant things about her is she's an advocate for diversity and inclusion. And Bodine and I speak about that all the time on our show. And she had a quote when interviewed, and she said, "I demand," speaking about diversity and inclusion, "I demand it from my team. Every now and then you have to nudge your partners. You have to speak up and speak out. And I try to use my platform for that. I try to set an example." So I love that about her. And it's unfortunate that we still have to set an example as in regards to equity and in regard to women and people of color. But that's still our reality, unfortunately.
I love learning about all these different people. It really gives a good, a different perspective of how different life is.
Right, in the same environment, right? I mean, they're even in our own communities. All right, so now we already talked about our challenge. Aaron preemptively talked about the triathlon. I love that idea. We're gonna. Oh, Kathleen has something to say.
I just would like to say that Hattie's final estate was less than $10,000.
Oh, wow.
Did it say how much she made working on the movie?
Says she earned an excellent income, but that she landed at less than 10,000. So I'll let you know in a minute.
But I'd also like to know, if you find that out, in comparison to what her co-stars made. Who are her co-stars again? Who was, I forgot their names. Who?
Is it Scarlett something?
Yes, I'm thinking Scarlett Johansson, but it's not Scarlett Johansson, of course.
Was it O'Hara?
I don't know. Was that the character in the movie or the actress?
No.
I'll have to look that up. But and who? Clark Gable, was he the? I think Clark Gable was her leading man, or not her leading man, but
she made a lot of money. Well, for that time frame.
What?
She was paid $32,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Vivian Lee was Scarlett O'Hara. Clark Gable was Brett Butler. And yeah, Hattie McDaniel was, I forget how you pronounce it, Mammy, or I forget.
Very interesting. So sorry, I didn't mean to get you off task.
No, I'm gonna stars. All right, so let's talk about our challenges when I try to find that too. We have the triathlon. What about learning something new? We were all supposed to try to learn something new this week. How did everybody do?
Well, I'm learning at my new job.
Yeah.
And I also got a bunch of new makeup this week, so I'm learning how to use my new makeup. I tried today, but I didn't give myself enough time, so it didn't turn out as great as I wanted it to.
You always look great, Courtney.
Oh,
That's
thank
true.
you.
What about you, Eric?
Not much learning over here going on.
You're always learning something, are you? You're learning how to clean the crevice of the top of a windowsill or something you hadn't known.
I did learn how to take the door off the oven and clean in between the two things. I taped a butcher knife with a painter stirrer and the paper towel wrapped around it, and I cleaned the inside of it. So
That's crazy.
I've seen people do that on TikTok also.
I actually Googled it. But it gets
So
Did
it's
you know
not-
that you can bring up the top of your stove and clean underneath the
flat top.
where you put the pots?
Well,
Yeah.
but that's not on a flat top? Is that a flat top or with burners?
I would think that it works on a flat top too. I don't know for certain, but I know for a electric stove, you pick that sucker up and you'll be surprised at what you're gonna find in there.
So I found this. Vivian Lee, who was really the star of that, only made $25,000. She worked 125 days and worked $25,000. Clark Gable only worked 71 days and received $120,000. So what a disparity. So I have to believe, I wonder what Hattie McDaniel would have made if
And when was that? That was in the 1930s.
So it said, yeah, she said.
I wonder what the equivalent to that is today.
Well, in 2011, Clark Gable, Clark Gable would have made 1.8 million, and Vivian Lee would have made 472,000.
Oh my
But
god!
that's not so far off the mark for women until recently. I believe I don't know who it is. It might have been Scarlett Johansson. At one point, it was Julia Roberts. That I think Julia Roberts was the first one to make $1 million in a movie. When she had put a lot of movies in that before she got to that point. So there's still a disparity, and I think we're just starting to close the gap on all of that. So we'll have to do some more research. I can't find out for definitively how much, but even Vivian Lee wasn't paid at the rate that Clark Gable was. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I found a beautiful dress as I was trying to search that. So I don't know what I learned this week. I'm actually learning some new things in Excel again this week, which isn't so exciting. But next week we're going to do fashion finds, and I did learn how on TikTok, and I'll talk about that next week, how to repurpose a cardigan. Have you seen any of that where they put the back of the cardigans over their head and the long cardigans turned into this cute hip new cardigan? So we'll see if I can pull that off. Kim is saying buy that dress. So I can't buy that dress because I have to buy a bathing suit first in my triathlon training. So I have priorities. I'll put it on my wish list. So perfect. So what's our new challenge for the week? We've been talking about learning something new. We're not coming up with a lot of great things. What could we talk about? What could we challenge each other to do this week?
I'm thinking.
I want to try to find somebody that I can give that holiday or the Valentine's Day gift basket to, like a single person.
Oh, I love that. We could all try to do that. It could be as simple as finding somebody at our office. I mean, I have someone in mind at my office, but I think it would be a little bit since I'm new, it would be a little bit weird. But I will say something. Remember, Aaron, and this is a big secret at work. When this is not this prior job that we worked together, but the job before that. So I used to put, at one point morale was so bad in the office. Maybe I'll try this at my new job. I could do this. Morale was so bad in the office that I used to put these. I decided at one time to put these inspirational messages, which I still have, little cards similar to the ones Aaron gave me. I put them in those little mesh bags with some candy, and the message was meant to brighten someone's day. It was just a random act of kindness that I was doing. I never told anybody I did it, actually, until fairly recently, long after I had left there. I just started divulging it. But some people were like so skeptical of the candy. They just couldn't take it for face value. They thought like they were going to be poisoned. And I would hear them because I would be at my desk knowing full well, and I couldn't say. They're like, I'm not eating the candy. I'm like, I think the candy's fine.
Well, I would that you kind of hyped that situation up, because you would be like, who did this? Oh my God. You kind of hyped everybody up on that.
So, but some people ate the candy because I did find some wrappers. But so some people appreciate, and that's just the way life is. Some people appreciate kindness, and some people just won't. So, but yeah, I still love that idea. I love random acts of kindness, and I think it's getting more prevalent in society with the drive-throughs and buying people's coffee. But I think this up levels it a little bit, and yeah, it'll be interesting to hear how you make out court. I'm going to try it too, but I don't know if I have as much exposure. But how about this? If you find anybody in the school, more than one person, I can always make a basket too, and we can do that. But yeah, I love that idea. What about you guys? Is that, you wanted to challenge that too, or play it by ear, or come up with something else?
Yeah, I like that idea. I think I have some people in mind.
All right, perfect. It's going to be really difficult for Kathleen because she doesn't leave the house.
Maybe
Well,
I can block somebody.
Or what you could do is, I've seen this, leave a little basket for your delivery people or your mail person or something like that. Yeah, you could put a little Valentine's, just a couple candy bars wrapped with a ribbon for your postal person. Maybe I'll do that too. Maybe that'll be my, because, technically they're not allowed to take tips, but I'm just sure they can take candy, and they take tips anyway. But all right. I think we had another great show. We got a lot to look forward to. We went over time, 8:09, because we're so interesting and intriguing. We always like to thank our viewers, and we have some new ones tonight, and we love that. We have, of course, Justin. He's our number one fan. Kimberly, she's number two. And then, but we got some new competition. We have Becca coming in. We have Colleen and Katie, Anthony. We love having all you guys here. Tim Fielder, thanks for popping in. And I think it was a great show. We had a lot of fun comments, and we're really serious. If you're passionate about any of the topics that we talked about, especially in regard to diet or exercise or anything holistic, after the fashion finds, I really want to segue back into some of the holistic products for children court. That was a good segment, especially now that we have Aaron on, another great, a new mom. And I think you guys will lend entirely different perspective. I mean, a lot of people are interested in that topic at the time, healthier shampoos and that type of thing. Colleen is saying, yes, great show tonight, Joanne. Yeah, Courtney and Aaron, thank you. Justin is saying, Joanne, this is a serious question. Are you fast? And here's the answer, Justin. No, I am not. But that's my answer tonight. In 6 months, my serious response is going to be, yes, I am faster. So I'm going to work towards becoming faster. I don't know. Fast is subjective. I don't think I'm going to break any world records, but I might break my own personal PRs, which are, not very inhibiting. So we're going to break barriers, Justin. We're going to break Hot Mama's barriers. That's all we can do. We can only promise to do that much. So, and of course, our favorite Valentine is behind the scenes, our crispy bacon. He's our main squeeze, and certainly my main squeeze, and my my favorite Valentine. Kim is saying I'm fast with my comments. That is true. That is true, Justin. I am fast with the commenting. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, ladies. You made my Wednesday night. I was in, my mood wasn't that great, but you uplifted me. And we'll see you again next week. Chris, you can play us out. And
Bye-bye.
everybody, enjoy the Super Bowl and happy Valentine's Day, everybody.